Yeah, I hope this ain't gonna be no 8 minutes of your life you don't get back. I ain't gonna watch the meter, but hanging in the back room earlier today, Sam and I we watched a little bit of slots, and it was cowboy slots, right? And anyhow, him and his buddy were talking about having a bull for a pet, and my mind is really retarded. You can tell me a story, and out of that, I'm either going to think of a joke or I'm going to think of some other parallel story, or something's going to trip in my head. For example, now I have a chance of rambling here. A couple of days back at Empress Palace, a good buddy of mine, love him dearly, ain't going to mention his name because I don't want no hate come his way. He asked me, he says, hey, what's the opposite? What's the opposite of Parkinson's? And I'm going like, I don't know. And he goes, daughter's driving. All right, you can get upset about that, or you can understand who it is and what I'm going through that's saying that. You got to make light of this shit. Yeah. So anyhow, now back to this bull story. So here's in my head. First thing that popped in my head about the bull was my junior year after high school at St. Pete's with my first colon surgery. Uh, it was decided that I was going to have a what they call a subtotal colectomy, which is all your colon but 10 inches taken out. Easier to monitor polyps, for a hereditary situation that I've been dealt with. Or dealt. So it ends up about a week in the hospital, and a helicopter lands out there. And I'm on the 7th floor looking out over the helicopter pad, and I see a gurney getting wheeled out, and there's some blood on linen. So I'm going like, this looking pretty wild. Probably a couple hours later, I get a phone call, and it's Dr. Carl Rupert, my gastro surgeon and doctor, and just an all-around good man. And he asked me if I liked the helicopter coming in, and I told him, I said, what was that all about? And he said, well, he says, I could have brought him in by ambulance, but he said, I figured you had a good line of sight on the helicopter pad. I figured I'd bring him on a helicopter. I said, what happened? And he goes, well, he raises prize bulls, and he got gourded. So he says, had him brought in here so I could put them all back together. And he said the last thing he said to me before he left his bedside in recovery was, when I get out of here, we're having a steak dinner, so I'll see you later. Now, that's just how retarded my mind works. Now I'm going to backpedal a little bit. Junior year of high school, I know I got this hereditary situation. My dad, my brother, my niece. My grandmother died of colon cancer. I believe she was 38. All hereditary. It's not a matter of if it becomes cancer, it's a matter of when. So my mom and stepdad with double insurance, they said, hey, let's get it handled. So first Sunday after my junior year in high school, I go to St. Pete's with my folks. And I'm thinking it's just, check this out, just what's coming up, No. I went in that Sunday and didn't come home for 2 weeks. Definitely wild when I look back at it. This big, huge, towering black man, well, actually, I wasn't that big guy, I still ain't today, so maybe he wasn't that big, but he comes in all dressed in white, and he goes into my room and introduces himself, and goes into the restroom with a 5-gallon bucket and a hose and what have you, and you can probably get an idea where this is going. And this cat has the coolest demeanor. I mean, if I could cross paths with him today, I'd just be ecstatic, because he got the water running in the shower or whatever in that restroom of my room, and he comes out while the water's running. He says, "Hey, so you got a surgery coming up. I'm in charge of making sure you're all cleaned up and ready to go." He says, "I'm going to tell you right now, ain't going to let you down. You'll be ready for surgery. And before that, I'm going to let you know your eyeballs will probably be floating before I get out of here." Holy smokes. Sense of humor. That is so important today. I think a lot of people miss that. And a few of my friends, they'd pop up. They'd come up after hours and visit me. They take the fire escape. So my room was right off that corner. And another kicker for me was, prior to all this, my mom and I, we'd go see Thrillers. And a movie that was released before my surgery was a movie called Visiting Hours. My mama made a joke about, well, maybe it wasn't a joke. She was thinking we should go see that. And I believe while I was in there, she's seen the movie, and she's glad we didn't go see it, because it was about someone using a fire escape to come up and murder people in the hospital. That would have been just flat out crazy. Well, anyhow, like I said, just one more story. God bless. Catch y'all later. Cheers.